I see that Archana has still not yet been able to join. Doesn't matter, we can start. So today we are starting a new determinism of nature. Okay? And the first para is 1.5 pages. No, sorry. It's only about half a page. So we will start reading and then let me do one thing. I'll tell you what, there is a difference between determination and determinism. Okay? Now determination, we all know what it means. I am determined to do this. I have my will and I will do it without any let up. I will not be lax in it. I am going to do what I have to do with will. That is determination. It's a question of will. But determinism means this, okay? The doctrine that all events, including human action, are determined. Can you hear me?
Yes, Ranga, we can hear you.
Yes, Ranga.
Yes, please.
Yes. So determinism means the doctrine, the theory that all events, including human action, are ultimately determined by causes regarded as external to the will. Our will is not determining things, but there is some other force or other element which is determining what we do. Okay? So some philosophers have taken determinism to imply that individual human beings have no free will and cannot be held morally responsible for their actions. Of course, the justice system in the world does not accept this. They say that every human being is responsible for his actions. And that's why he can be either rewarded or he can be punished. But if this theory is correct, that we are being manipulated by somebody else, then how can you be held responsible for your actions? So you cannot be punished. Then the whole judicial system in the world will fail. So that is not normally accepted. But spiritually, it is a fact. It is a fact that you are not really responsible for your actions so long as you are identified with human life. Okay? So, now we'll start reading and read. Pallavi, did you read?
Yes, Ranga.
Go ahead. The first one.
The determinism of nature. When we can live in the higher self by the unity of works and self-knowledge, we become... Yes, Ranga.
It is not determination. You read the...
Determinism.
That's... Go ahead.
When we can live in the higher self by the unity of works and self-knowledge, we become superior to the method of the lower workings of Prakriti. We are no longer enslaved to nature and her gunas, but one with the Ishvara, the master of our nature, we are able to use her without subjection to the chain of karma for the purposes of the divine will in us. For that is what the greatest self in us is. He is the Lord of our works and unaffected by the troubled stress of our reactions. The soul ignorant in nature, on the contrary, is enslaved by that ignorance to her modes, because it is identified there, not felicitously with its true self, not with the divine who is seated above her, but stupidly and unhappily with the ego mind which is a subordinate factor in her operations in spite of the exaggerated figure it makes, a mere mental knot and a point of reference for the play of the natural workings. To break this knot, no longer to make the ego the center and beneficiary of our works, but to derive all from and refer all to the divine super soul is the way to become superior to all the restless trouble of nature's modes. For it is to live in the supreme consciousness of which the ego mind is a degradation, and to act in an equal and unified will and force, and not in the unequal play of the gunas, which is a broken seeking and striving, a disturbance and an inferior maya.
So, Surendra has told us, he is telling you very clearly here, remember this, there are 3 levels, which is very clear in the Gita. The Kshara Purusha, the Akshara Purusha, and the Uttama Purusha. This will, very clearly you must put this into your mind, the 3 levels. The lowest level is Kshara Purusha. Kshara Purusha means your consciousness is mutating. It is not Akshara. It is unstable. It is moving all the time. Okay? That's your lowest level of the ignorance. Then, and it consists of mind, life and body. When you are identified with your mind, life and body, you are at level 1, the ignorance. And there you are controlled by nature. But as soon as you raise your consciousness and go to the self beyond the mind, life, body, then you are free. Who is free? The soul is free. But not the body, mind, life. The body, mind, life continues to act in the old way. Okay? Suppose you are getting angry, you will be angry. Suppose your selfishness is there, that will continue to be there. But the soul is free. The soul is now not identified with the body, mind, life. Okay? So that is liberation, moksha, mukti. Okay? Salvation, as we say in the West. Then there is a 3rd level. The 3rd level is the Purushottama, where you have the power also to change the lower. In the 2nd level of the self, the Brahmic consciousness, you are free. The soul is free. But you have no power to change the body, mind, life. But the change of body, mind, life is possible at the 3rd level. So remember this 3 levels. Okay? So here Swami is describing the lowest level, the determinism of nature. You are not free at all. Because body, mind, life is absolutely manipulated like a puppet by universal nature. Okay? So this if you keep mind very clearly, then it is a lot of discussion. 12 pages. It's a long para, a long chapter. So I read now, with this background, I read each sentence. When we can live in the higher self by the unity of works and self-knowledge, we become superior to the method of the lower workings of Prakriti. Prakriti is force. Mechanical force, Prakriti, nature. And the Purusha is the consciousness. Okay? Which is separate from it. Now, when we live in the higher self, which is the higher self? Level 2. The Brahmic consciousness. There you are free. Okay? By the unity of works and self-knowledge, what knowledge you have, you can apply to your works. Okay? At our level, we may have knowledge, but we can't apply that knowledge always to our works. We want to do something, but we cannot do it. In fact, it goes so far, and even if I don't want to do something, I do it. This is our condition here at the lower level, level 1. So very often you will see people saying, I don't want to do this, and yet I'm being forced to do it. Okay, so this is the condition of level 1. But if you are in level 2, the higher self, Brahmic consciousness, okay, we become superior to the method of the lower workings of Prakriti. Lower workings of Prakriti, level 1. You are identified with your body, mind, life. You are not at all conscious of your soul. Okay? Very clear. Then, in the self, in the 2nd level, we are no longer enslaved to nature and her gunas. Which are the gunas? Remember? Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Sattva corresponds to the mind, the Rajas corresponds to the vital, and the Tamas corresponds to the physical, the body. Okay? So we are completely, nature is making us a slave to our own dictates. Nature says this and we do it. We think that we are doing by our own will, but that's an illusion. Okay? When you go to the self, that illusion breaks. We understand that the body-mind life was not doing at all what the soul wanted. But now the soul is free, but no power at level 2. But, I'm reading the second sentence. We are no longer enslaved to nature and our gunas, but one with the Ishvara, okay, your soul, master of our nature. So, the Ishvara is master of the nature, but not the self. We are able to use her without subjection to the chain of karma. When you are in the self, you can use your body-mind life. But when you are using your body-mind life, you are not identified with the body-mind life. It's like using an instrument. If I am using a screwdriver, the screwdriver is not dictating terms to me. I can do whatever I want with it. That's exactly the condition of the second level. You are free. You are the user of body-mind life with freedom. But when you are at level 1, you can't use your body-mind life as you want. Not possible. We are able to use her without subjection to the chain of karma. Chain of karma is clear. Yes, tell me.
Just one question. To go to the second level, mind only helps you, no?
Mind also is subject to nature.
Oh.
The thoughts that come into your mind are coming from outside. You are not creating your own mind.
But then how to go to the second level? We are always in the first level only most of the time.
That is how to go to second level is yoga. There are many, many ways. You can silence your mind. You can observe your mind. All these methods are there. Okay? That you have to go to the synthesis of yoga. Many ways are there, by which you can get out of your body-mind life. Intense aspiration to not be, When you look at yourself at level 1, you can see very often that you are a slave. Not always, but you can see. I did not want to do this, yet I did it. Why did it happen? Okay? You can become aware that you are being manipulated. Okay? Sometimes the results of your action also come when you have not really tried to do something, but the result has come. Okay? So that means there is some other element, other force, which is also determining our fate. Okay? So, your mind can help, certainly. The mind can help a little bit, but it cannot liberate. And also, the Gita says very clearly, Tarika, the Gita says very clearly that the mind cannot control the vital. You remember that image? It is pushed like a boat in a storm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You remember that phrase? Yeah. The boat of the vital cannot be controlled by the mind. Cannot be controlled.
Yeah, but that where Duryodhan says, no, Janami Sat Nachame Pravritti, Nachame Nivritti, that is the condition, no?
Yeah. To a certain extent you can. With the mind.
Willpower, but if you don't have willpower comes from mind only, no?
Which mind? The mind.
Willpower.
Our mind, our consciousness, when it is identified with the body and the vital, there is no freedom. Can you state your problem clearly, Tarika? I didn't follow exactly what you're saying.
No, I said with willpower only you can try to do, no? Willpower is from the mind only, no?
Willpower is certainly necessary, but it does not liberate you. It helps, but it cannot liberate you.
Mm-hmm.
So long as your willpower is one of the body, mind and life, okay, it cannot liberate you. To a certain extent you may. Today, for instance, I was about to get angry, but I controlled my anger. Fine. But next time you won't be able to. Partially you will be able to do that, but not fully. Not forever. Okay? And even when you go to the self, you are free. But you cannot control the body, mind, life. It will continue with its old habits. Yeah, remember, it is like I gave you an example. You are on a scooter and you are going scooter at a certain speed. Okay? Then what happens is that you switch off the scooter, the motor, when you are about, say, 100 meters away from your destination. You want to save petrol and you switch off the scooter. Does the scooter stop? No, it doesn't. It goes on. So the old habits, exactly in the same way, the old habits continue. And when you are in the self, slowly the old habits may die out. They will die out slowly. That's why when a yogi is free, he will see that his body, mind, life is continuing with his old habits. You remember the Durvasa, good example. Okay? Yeah. So that's what happens. With the mind you cannot. It's not possible. So, I go
Ranga, Tarika was meaning that does the willpower come from the mental?
Power comes from?
Mental, mind. That
Mental.
was the question.
Yeah. Okay, I answered that. I said to a certain extent, your mind can control it can control the vital in bits and pieces. But it cannot completely control the vital. Not possible. Will is helpful.
Rangada?
Yes.
Rangada, my question is in this context only what Tarika has brought up. The mental methods, the physical methods of yoga, and all those methods of yoga help us to go to realize the self, don't they? Aren't they methods to realize the self?
Yes.
Like the Hatha Yoga is the physical method, and it helps us to realize the self, or the mental method like watching our mental thoughts, the Raj Yogic method, I have to put it.
Certainly.
Or that matter,
Certainly the will
helps. Ways to... No, Rangada, my question is not about the will. What I'm asking is, am I clear? Am I audible?
Yes.
Rangada, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
My question is that these mental processes, this mental yoga which we say, the Raj Yoga, or the Hatha Yoga which is the physical processes, these are basically methods to realize the self, aren't they?
And
are they?
Yes, all the yoga methods are to realize the self. Realize that you are not the body, mind, life, and you are the soul. That is what. Okay? And those methods are there. And at that level, you have to use your will a little bit, no doubt. But it does not liberate you entirely. When your consciousness goes up, you are free. You are your consciousness, your soul is free, but the body, mind, life is not free. It will continue to be subject to karma. Whatever you have done at that time.
Rangada, my question is not that. My question is just that these are methods to come to unite with the self, aren't they? That is my question. The other things I understood what you're saying.
Yeah, that's right. You are right.
That is all. That is all I want.
Yeah. Certainly, your methods. No, Tarika asked how to go to the self. Then I said these are the yogas which help you to go to the self. And there are different methods, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Kriya Yoga, Integral Yoga. There are so many different ways. It's not only one way to go to the self. Okay? So, we get back to our text. Okay. So, for the purpose of divine willingness. So, it's a huge sentence and we have to start somewhere in the middle. We are no longer, I'm reading the third line. We are no longer enslaved to nature and her gunas. Enslaved to nature means our body, mind, life. But one with the Ishvara, the master of our nature, we are able to use her without subjection to the chain of karma. When you are in the self, you can use your body, mind, life to a certain extent, but And the power to use it fully is only at the Ishvara level. That is the third level, the Purushottama level. Okay? In fact, when you go to the self, the satisfaction is so great that you are more than satisfied. Let the body, mind, life do whatever it wants. What does it matter to me? That's why you give it up. That's why in India for such a long time, the idea was just liberation. Don't worry about the body, mind, life. It will disappear one day, no? It's not going to remain forever. But your soul will remain forever and you are free. And that's wonderful experience. But Sri Ranga is not satisfied only with that. He wants transformation of the lower also. Okay, so... But one with the Ishvara, master of our nature, we are able to use her without subjection to the chain of karma. Without subjection to our body, mind, life. Which will continue to have karma. Note interestingly that all avatars are free. They are divine. But could they control things in the body, mind, life? No. Ramakrishna, Raman Maharshi, all had cancer. Okay? The body, mind, life will undergo what it has to undergo. Okay? So, unaffected chain of karma for the purposes of the divine will in us. For that is what the greater self in us is. He is the Lord of all of works, the Lord of her works, and unaffected by the troubled stress of her reactions. Whenever there is a disturbance in the being, when we get angry, we are disturbed. When we do something wrong, we are disturbed. When someone insults me, we are disturbed. Disturbance in the being is a clear sign that you are in ignorance. When you are in the self, nothing will disturb you. No insult, nothing. Not even what are considered wrong actions in the physical world, okay, will not bother you at all. You are completely free. So that's it. Remember Sri Ranga's experience of the self in Baroda. His mind became free and he was completely, nothing was touching him from the physical world. Nothing. The body will undergo. Suppose you pinch the body or put a matchstick to your body, the body will react, but not the soul. So one who is in ignorance will not realize what's happening. The soul is completely free and not disturbed. But the body, mind, life will continue to be disturbed. Okay? That disturbance can be removed only at the third stage. The supramental, which is the Ishvara or the Purushottama. You can also think of it that way. So, I go to the next sentence. The soul ignorant in nature. Now, the soul is essentially divine. But don't think that the soul in you is divine already. If it was divine already, you would be conscious of it and you would be able to do whatever you want with the body, mind, life, but you can't. We are not conscious of the soul. So when he says the soul ignorant in nature, it means the nature is more powerful than your soul. Your body, mind, life influence is far greater than the influence of the soul. When the soul awakes, the psychic being awakes, it starts controlling and purifying body, mind, life. Okay? So, the soul, ignorant in nature, on the contrary, is enslaved by that ignorance to her modes. What the modes are? Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, universally, and individually your body, mind, life. Okay? Individually your body, mind, life. Because it is identified there, not felicitously with its true self, not with the divine who is seated above her, but stupidly and unhappily with the ego mind, which is a subordinate factor in her operations in spite of the exaggerated figure it makes. A mere mental knot and a point of reference for the play of the natural workings. So, this is the answer to Tarika's question. The will and the mind, the mental mind. It is nothing but a mere mental knot. Okay? And it's a point of reference for the play of the natural workings. The mind can look at the play of the natural workings. Which are the play of the natural workings? Again, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Okay. Your body, your mind, and even your life and mind. The mind has a certain power to detach itself, but not fully. It doesn't detach itself fully. To break this knot, what is the knot? The soul tied to the body-mind life, imprisoned by the body-mind life. That's a knot. Okay. So to break this knot, no longer to make the ego the center and beneficiary of our works. Whatever we do is the ego that gets satisfied. Okay. So to break the, no longer to make the ego the center and beneficiary of works, but to derive all from and refer all to the divine super soul. The divine super soul, you can think of it as the self, the Brahmic consciousness. Okay? But you can also say it's a psychic being to a certain extent. But the psychic being does not liberate you. It purifies you, but doesn't liberate you. Okay? Is a way to become superior to all the restless trouble of nature's modes. That's why any disturbance in the being, if you are very, very observant of yourself, any slight disturbance in the being, you know that you are not in the right condition. If you are in the right condition, you will not be disturbed at all. For it is to live in the supreme consciousness, of which the ego mind is a degradation. There you are. The ego mind is a degradation of the supreme consciousness. It is superior to vital consciousness and body consciousness. Certainly it is superior. And it is the best instrument that we have. But it is not the perfect instrument. The mind is a big help, no doubt. Okay? For it is to live in the supreme consciousness, of which the ego mind is a degradation, and to act in an equal and unified will and force, and not in the unequal play of the gunas. Now this is interesting. The unequal play of the gunas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, body, mind, life, they are uneven. Sometimes the mind is more powerful, sometimes the vital is more powerful, sometimes the body is more powerful. But when the three gunas become absolutely equal to each other, there is complete stability, and then the soul is released into the self. So this unequal play of gunas is described later on also, that they are not equal to each other. They are all different. Each human being is more mental than body, mind, life. Others are more vital than body and mind. Others are absolutely fixed on the body itself, which is the normally the animal level. Okay? For it is to live in the supreme consciousness, of which the ego mind is a degradation, and to act in an equal and unified will. Unified. Okay? And force, unified will and force, and not in the unequal play of the gunas, which is a broken seeking and striving, a disturbance, an inferior maya. So, when you are in the normal consciousness of man, it's a broken seeking. You seek for a short time, but you change again. Okay? And striving, there is an effort. But when you are in the self, the consciousness has no effort at all. It's absolutely stable. It is immutable. The mutation goes on in the body-mind life, but not in the self. An inferior maya. Paraprakriti and aparaprakriti. Paraprakriti is the higher nature, which is absolutely free, divine nature. And human nature is aparaprakriti, the lower one. Okay? So, now we can read the next one. What's the time? We've got 10 minutes. We can read the next one. Maybe we'll not be able to discuss it. So, who will read the next one? Anyone? Quick.
Can I read?
Okay, go ahead.
The passages in which the Gita lays stress on the subjection of the ego soul to nature have by some been understood as the enunciation of an absolute and a mechanical determinism which leaves no room for any freedom within the cosmic existence. Certainly, the language it uses is emphatic and seems very absolute, but we must take, here as elsewhere, the thought of the Gita as a whole and not force its affirmations in their solitary sense quite detached from each other. As indeed every truth, however true in itself, yet taken apart from others, which is at once limit and completed, becomes a snare to bind the intellect and a misleading dogma. For in reality, each is one thread of a complex weft, and no thread must be taken apart from the weft. Everything in the Gita is even so interwoven and must be understood in its relation to the whole. The Gita itself makes a distinction between those who have not the knowledge of the whole, akritsnavidaha, and are misled by the partial truths of existence, and the yogin who has the synthetic knowledge of the totality, kritsnavit. To see all existence steadily and see it whole and not be misled by its conflicting truths is the first necessity for the calm and complete wisdom to which the yogin is called upon to rise. A certain absolute freedom is one aspect of the soul's relations with nature at one pole of our complex being. A certain absolute determinism by nature is the opposite aspect at its opposite pole. And there is also a partial and apparent, therefore an unreal eidolon of liberty which the soul receives by a contorted reflection of these two opposite truths in the developing mentality. It is the latter to which we ordinarily give, more or less inaccurately, the name of free will. But the Gita regards nothing as freedom which is not a complete liberation and mastery.
So, this is what we consider our will is free, it is not free at all. And what is strange is, when we think we are free, actually we are a slave. But when you become completely obedient to the divine, in other words, you become a slave to the divine, you are free. The real freedom comes when you become a slave to the divine. But when you are a slave to your body, mind, life, you think you are free, that's a wrong freedom. Okay? We all think that we are free to do what we want. Okay? But you are not. You have been completely controlled by nature. I told you, there was a scientific study made, last time I told you, that study has seen that everything originates from the body. So your body is dictating terms to your mind and your vital. Okay? So there are chemicals which completely control your psychological being. So this is what happens. There is complete determinism. But this determinism is not absolute. That is what Gita is telling you. Because you can become free, and the higher you rise, the more you can use your body, mind, life. But when you rise to the highest, then your power over the body, mind, life is complete. But not otherwise complete. That's what he said. Okay? So in this
Ranga,
yes, tell me.
One question. You said our life is determined by nature. But
Yes.
it is also determined by a karma also. So what is the difference?
The karma is the result of your subjugation to nature.
So then it is finally it is determined by nature only.
Yes.
Our karmas and everything.
Yes. Unless you are free. At the physical level, the karma is complete. But the soul, when it rises to second level, then it is free. The soul is free, but not the body, mind, life. Okay? Karma, that's why it uses the word mukti, moksha, liberation. The soul is completely free. There are two things in you. One is the lower nature, body, mind, life. Okay? And the soul. But so long as the soul thinks it is body, mind, life, that's our condition. You are not free. But the soul, with aspiration and with development through many, many lives, reaches a stage when it can escape from the prison of body, mind, life, then it becomes free. The soul is free, but not the body, mind, life. There must be a clear distinction between the two. Okay? So here Sri Ranga is warning us that you have to read the Gita fully and understand each aspect. Okay? Otherwise, you will make a mistake. He has already told us that earlier in the chapter, that some people say Gita is Karma Yoga, completely forgetting there is also Jnana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. There are others who say, no, it is only Bhakti Yoga. So you should see the Gita in full, right, in all the 18 chapters. Then you will get the reality. Okay. So we have only 3 minutes left, and we can't. So there are a few words and there are quite a few things. We will have to do this next time. The passages in which Gita will go into detail and see what he's saying. Okay.
May I ask a question, please?
Go ahead.
Right in the beginning when we started essays on the Gita, you had explained to us, but I have forgotten, that the Gita is not totally complete because the supermind had not descended at that time.
That's right.
So the Gita has karma, bhakti and jnana yoga. But what is it that is missing from the Gita?
Okay. The missing from the Gita is the third level. The third level goes, but the lower nature can be completely changed in the evolution and the advent of a supermental race. That is missing from the Gita.
And so the integral yoga is missing.
Yeah, that's right. The integral yoga is in that sense missing, yes. You can go to the Purushottama level and you can continue to do work in the physical world, but the individual can do that. But what about the rest of humanity? So Sri is now thinking of humanity, the general evolution for mankind and the world is missing from the Gita.
That means Lord Krishna did not reach the supermind?
That I don't know we can say, but it certainly did not transform this physical earth. It did not. That's why.
Here I want to add one small thing.
Yes.
Quantum theory is missing from Gita. And Sri Aurobindo has brought in the quantum theory a lot in Life Divine when he is talking of matter. So Sri Aurobindo has even brought this, the scientific aspect also he has brought in. Like through science also these things are coming, but they don't know the actual reason. Yes. So that is one, I just, it's crossed my mind and I thought I'd like to share. So the quantum theory is, when you read his matter part, it is almost like he's talking of quantum theory. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. But now, many scientists are actually having spiritual experiences. And now they have realized also that consciousness.
Exactly.
Yeah, consciousness is an.
In fact, Ranga, in fact, Sri Aurobindo himself says that if the scientific inquiry would go till the end, they would also reach where I have reached. But they do not go till the end. They stop somewhere.
Yeah, that's right.
I think in Life Divine, not exactly the same language. My language is my language, but something like this he mentions also.
Yes. Okay, so it's 8:40. We will stop here now. And next time we'll take up from the passages in which the Gita lays stress. Okay, au revoir everybody.
Au revoir.
Have a nice
Merci beaucoup.
Bonne journée.
Yes.